After 8 races, the 2018 championship battle couldn't be closer, with only 2 points splitting the top 3 in the championship. There have been 2 wins apiece for the 2 Ferrari drivers, Mercedes' Valtteri Bottas and Red Bull's Daniel Ricciardo, with only 2 third-place finishes Hamilton's best results in a torrid start to 2018. However, with Ferrari scoring 2 1-2 finishes in a row in the last 2 races, and Valtteri Bottas only scoring 1 podium in this period, can the Scuderia take this momentum into the Red Bull ring? Or will Bottas, Hamilton, or even the Red Bulls have something to say about that? Welcome back to part 9 of the Kimi career on F1 2018. And as alluded to in the introduction there, the championship battle is tighter than ever. We are only 2 points behind Valtteri Bottas for the lead of this World Championship after a really good race in France. A win that really we didn't get much competition from behind in. So I'm hoping that in this race we get a bit more competition. My only fear, possibly now over the last few races that we've started to pick up this game seriously, is that the difficulty might be a little bit too low. I could be talking too soon, but if we do take pole position by, say, half a second here at Austria, then alarm bells might start to sound. This is a very short racetrack in these 2018 cars. You can get a lap time in, I think, about 1 minute 4, 1 minute 5. So we've got plenty of time to get there out there in qualifying and do a banker lap. But we're going to get there pretty early, I think, just to see how we fare against the rest of the grid. Coming up to the end of this banker lap, and we have absolutely aced it so far. Directly comparison here against Seb, and we're 7 tenths up after 2 sectors. What's it going to be as we go across the line? That's a better lap from Valtteri Bottas, but we put that out the water with a 1:05.4. So I'm hoping there's a lot more to come from the rest of the grid here, because that is a massive advantage that we've got here at this Austria circuit after the banker lap. Let's have a look at the delta. Well, purple in all 3 sectors. Valtteri Bottas, even with his best lap, is 8 tenths per second behind us, so we are way out in front at the moment. Well, that's all it needed, the banker lap, and we've got an absolutely huge margin. Even at this short track, 8 tenths is an absolutely huge margin to Valtteri Bottas, who's on the front row with us. Sebastian Vettel lines up 3rd. Lewis Hamilton can only offer 4th, and the 2 Red Bulls in behind that. But my God, we have started to seem to get a really good advantage. I would say I'm pretty good around these sort of tracks. Austria, Canada, these are the ones that I prefer. I'm not sure if you can increase the difficulty in these championship modes, but God, I hope we can, because if this is what it's going to be like, then it's not much entertainment for you guys, but the race might well bring something else. So it's another pole position after our shock pole in France. There was nothing shocking about that. The biggest shock really was the margin that we got pole position by, and only through 1 flying lap that we had to do. But anyway, let's go on to the race and see what today's Grand Prix brings.
It looks like it could be a tense round of the championship here as we prepare to get today's race underway.
No threat of rain today at the Red Bull Ring. It is lovely and dry on a hot summer's day here, and this is our first opportunity of the season to take the lead of the World Drivers' Championship. If it's one of the 3 of us who win today, then they will leapfrog the others and take the lead of the championship. It's so close, and that's just... It's crazy, really, how it has ended up being this close, and a lot of that, I think, is down to how Valtteri Bottas' consistency has fell off a little bit over the last couple of rounds. Only 1 podium in the last 3, which has helped ourselves, Raikkonen and Vettel, to decrease that gap. Sebastian, unlucky, you would have to say. With that retirement in Spain, he would have picked up another 18 points, so he would have been some way ahead. There's only Raikkonen and Bottas of the top 6 that haven't had a DNF so far this season. So consistency matters, of course it does, but Sebastian Vettel, you would have to say, without that DNF, would be the driver of the championship ultimately and on top. I just can't believe that Lewis Hamilton just hasn't got started yet in this season. I don't know if this game's intelligent enough to have confidence and stuff like that, but even in the results in qualifying a lot, Valtteri Bottas has seemed to be ahead of Lewis Hamilton, so Bottas is pretty much the #1 driver at Mercedes at the moment, which is something you wouldn't be expecting at the start of the season. But it's another pole position for us here at Austria. Let's see if we can get a good getaway and avoid the 2 Finns colliding into the first corner. So the grid forming up, and I think they are. Put it into rich fuel mix, the lights above the drivers, 5 lights here at the Red Bull Ring. And we're away for 18 laps that I think, because it's such a short circuit, that will go by in an absolute flash. Vettel has had a monstrous start, goes up the inside. We give Vettel the room, but he gets a little bit sluggish out that corner because of a sub-optimum turning. That means Valtteri Bottas gets up our inside. We've got the slipstream on both of our title rivals. We can't avoid chucking it up the inside of Sebastian Vettel, but we can avoid to battle... we can't avoid, you know what I mean, with Valtteri Bottas, and we've retaken second place from Valtteri Bottas. I think the real aim here is to avoid any contact with Sebastian Vettel. As I've said before, yes, it'd be great for us to win the world title, but ultimately the main goal is for the two Ferraris to finish well, and we couldn't go for turning in on our teammates, but we could be a bit more aggressive with Valtteri Bottas, and really all that is a pedigree of Sebastian's brilliant start from the second row. We thought potentially we'd have Valtteri Bottas up the inside going into the first corner, but not Seb, and that is a brilliant start for Sebastian Vettel. So we're in behind Vettel. I feel like coming to the end of this lap we have got some more pace. You can see we're right behind our teammate now, so we might be able to make a move going on to lap 2. But what a first lap that is from Sebastian. Do we go up the inside into turn 1? We've got the run, and we've made it a clean move at least for the moment. We're going to have a poor run out of turn 1, which really hasn't helped Seb, in fairness, in his battle with the two Mercedes in behind. Bottas has got slipstream on Seb coming into turn 3. Can Valtteri Bottas make that move? It's very close between the top 3 in the championship, and because of this battling, Lewis Hamilton is getting into it now. But can we, as Vettel battles with Valtteri Bottas, get out of that DRS zone? Side by side, the two championship rivals on this next straight, but DRS doesn't come in until the next lap. But we're back into P1 for now. Can we stay there? Well, as was our pace in qualifying, that we've just left the rest of the field behind. The gap to Seb, remember, last lap it was only a couple of attempts. It is 1.5 seconds. That gap has stayed the same at the end of the first sector. Possibly the guys behind, because you've got, I think at least, you've got 3 DRS zones, I think, on this track. So it is DRS heavy considering how short the track is. Possibly with DRS, the guys behind might be able to pull us back in. Well, yes, we are leading the field, but clearly our team again in this race think we're pushing the tyres far more than we should do. We should be stopping on lap 7, and this is telling us to stop on lap 4. I feel like that delta is more than it's ever been. Maybe a lap before sometimes, but not 3 laps before. So we're clearly burning the tyres out quite a lot more than the team would suspect. So we might have to stop pushing a little bit, but that is easier said than done, to be honest, in this sort of race. But you can see, again, the gap behind is stable. The 2 Red Bulls aren't that far away, actually, from the 3 guys behind. But it remains Sebastian Vettel in 2nd, Valtteri 3rd, and Lewis Hamilton 4th. Time for our one and only pit stop, then, in this Grand Prix. Just got to make sure we time this right. Trust that the braking boards and racing line is correct there. And they were absolutely fine. So, looks like it is Valtteri Bottas who's in. The rest of the guys staying out there. I don't know if the midfield are coming in. We could have a bit of traffic if we have come in significantly early. Romain Grosjean stays out there. He seems to have got a really good lead against the rest. Very much best the rest for Romain Grosjean. But we are going to come out into some traffic here, which might threaten our lead. We were a decent amount in front of Sebastian Vettel. I think it was 2.8 seconds as we came into the pits. But again, the gap was a second and a half after the end of lap 2, I think. So not exactly a gap that was massively pushed over those 5 laps. We dispatch of Nico Hülkenberg quite easily, despite, again, a bit like the AI in the last race, even though, yes, they're going for position, but not race position. They still defend that position quite considerably, which seems a little bit odd to me. But Hülkenberg not holding us up intensely. Valtteri Bottas, though, has come out into even more traffic, which is what that 3-second delta has really supported us with, not coming out into that traffic. So you would suggest that Bottas would probably be jumped by maybe even all of the front runners here. I think we're going to be okay. We're going to retake the lead of the Grand Prix. There's still somebody out there, though, actually. There's going to be a Red Bull out there, Max Verstappen. But you can see that we're out ahead of Seb. Yep, Seb's quite a way ahead of the rest. So Sebastian's done okay in that round of pit stops. Just have to see when we get onto the next straight what the order of the field is. So Seb, then I would guess that's probably Bottas still, not Lewis. But Sebastian, oh, the safety car, VSC. Who's out of the race then? There's a car dropped out. This could help Max Verstappen significantly if he can get into the pits while this VSC takes place. Yes, it's not a significant advantage like a safety car, but it certainly can help. Probably half the time that a pit stop takes, I would guess. But it ends very quickly, does the VSC. So, unfortunately, we don't want to have a penalty. So, we brake there, and we're okay. So, that was a bit of drama for about half a lap there. So, I don't know if Verstappen would gain slightly in the pits, but I don't think it's enough to jump anybody. We'll see if he has indeed pitted. He's on the super softs now. Yeah, that's what he's pitted onto. I did wonder possibly whether he had started on those super softs, but no, he's pitted onto the super softs. Seb's going to be P2. He's going to be out fairly close to Bottas. No, he's not actually. So Bottas is P3. Lewis Hamilton, though, again, this season's just not going well for him at all, is it? I think he's probably at the back of that train. He's 6th now. He seems to be held up by the guys behind. So again, for the 3rd race in a row, we are staring down the barrel of a Ferrari 1-2, and it's in the way of Raikkonen so far, so it looks like we could take the lead in the Drivers' Championship for the first time this season. Well, the gap was 1.7 to Sebastian Vettel, and in Sector 2 of the last lap he did gain slightly, but we put 8 tenths on our teammate in the last sector, and we've just set the fastest lap of the race. Well, the positions keep changing between Bottas and Ricciardo, so I thought Bottas was possibly quite a safe 3rd, but he's not at the moment. Daniel Ricciardo could take that 3rd place off him, and Bottas' season, I wouldn't say it's starting to unravel, but after a very consistent start, if he finishes off the podium here today, then that's only 1 podium in the last 4, and another 3 points taken off him. Well, that's out of nowhere. Lewis Hamilton's now P3. Maybe Bottas and Ricciardo got into a tangle possibly, but Lewis Hamilton certainly wasn't in that battle. So, hello to Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, you can see it's a battle of at least 3 cars. Yeah, it is 3 cars because Max Verstappen is a little bit off that battle. But Lewis Hamilton, well, welcome to 2018, Lewis. Well, we really seem to have our mojo now, don't we? This is going to be the 3rd win for Raikkonen in 4 races. This really the most convincing yet. We were unchallenged in qualifying. Apart from the early stages here, we've been pretty unchallenged in the race. We've pulled out a 6-second gap to Sebastian Vettel behind, just burning off some of the fuel at the end. It's Lewis who sits in P3 at the moment. He's 13 seconds behind us in what's been quite a short 18-lap race, given it's only just over a minute a lap round here. But it's going to propel Ferrari's position even better in the Constructors' Championship and our own position in the Drivers' Championship. And for the first time this season, we're going to lead the World Drivers' Championship. Looks like Lewis is going to get a podium, so his 3rd podium of the year. Sebastian Vettel's going to keep up his good work of when he finished a race, he finishes on the podium every single time. But not a great day for Valtteri Bottas again. It's only 1 out of 4 podiums now for the Finn. I'd love to see this as a fan in real life. Kimi Raikkonen leading the F1 2018 World Championship. Another victory in this season. Sebastian Vettel P2. Lewis Hamilton hasn't had the best start to the season. 3rd place, unbelievably only his best result 3 times so far this year. And he's equalled that today in Austria. He'll have thought he'd have got a lot more out of this season so far. But maybe the Ferrari team is just performing, and the car is performing better than the Mercedes now, possibly. Yes, Bottas was P2 on the grid, but Vettel made an absolute lightning start. I feel like this is going to be a short one today, so we'll have a look at that start from Seb before the end of the day. But it was quite strawn out, to be fair, through the whole field. You can see, and we noticed this quite early on, that Romain Grosjean was in a bit of a world on his own in the midfield there. 10 seconds out in front of Carlos Sainz and Nico Hülkenberg. That's a shock to see. Marcus Ericsson gets a point ahead of Charles Leclerc. I mean, the Force Indians had a very good start to the season, but they don't seem to have gone anywhere in particular. DNF for Kevin Magnussen in this race. So let's see where that leaves us in the championship. We know we now lead the World Drivers' Championship. It was only 4th place for Valtteri Bottas, just ahead of, crucially, Daniel Ricciardo, so he's only 12 points behind. Daniel Ricciardo getting a little bit cut adrift, you would say now. He had got half a chance, but another 13 points lost in this race. He hasn't got much of a chance. And still, Lewis Hamilton, even though he was best of the rest today, 89 points behind now. And it won't be a surprise to see that we've now got a 96-point lead against Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship. So very, very strong stuff. So let's have a look then at the replay. This isn't going to take long to find the start of this Grand Prix. We'll watch it from this view first as the lights go out. We knew that Seb made a good start. The light's been held for a long time. I think that's just the fashion on this game. You can see, well, it's not brilliant, but yeah, Seb already passed Valtteri Bottas, and he did go up at our inside. We did leave the room respectfully there, and that's the way it went. But let's have a look at that from Seb's point of view then. That must have been a mighty start for him in this Grand Prix. To have jumped Valtteri Bottas, it's not exactly a long run to the first corner here at the Red Bull Ring, and I know we probably gave him the position a little bit too easily, but that's all in the interest of fairness here at Ferrari. But yeah, let's see how he got past Valtteri Bottas. So he's made a very good start. He's passed Valtteri Bottas very quickly, and all of a sudden that gap opens up into the first corner. Bottas is not that far away from him, but that opens up into the first corner, and he does actually make contact there with Valtteri Bottas. I did wonder why Seb was particularly slow coming into that first corner, but he did bang wheels with Valtteri Bottas, which nearly sent him into a spin, but almost quite nicely sent him into a drift in the start of the race. But ultimately, we took him back near the end of the first lap. We got round the outside of Valtteri Bottas, as you would have seen on the first lap, and then after that, we chased down Sebastian Vettel, led him after the second lap, and that was all she wrote for the Austrian Grand Prix. I'm going to think about what we do about the difficulty. I'm not exactly sure we can change the difficulty in this championship mode. I've not seen an option yet, and it's great to win races, and possibly it might just be because these are some of the strongest tracks. But to have that much of a dominant win, I don't think is all that entertaining for you guys. But nevertheless, a good result that is surely worth a like. And if you enjoyed as well, make sure to leave a comment with your thoughts and subscribe for regular F1 2018 content. Once again, thanks very much for your support on this series so far, and I'll see you again in a couple of days for the British Grand Prix. Goodbye for now.